Please subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another updates from my YouTube channel.
I'm going to talk about how to integrate Spring Boot with Amazon DynamoDB. Okay, so first of all, I would like to discuss about what is Amazon DynamoDB, and after that I'm going to create one simple Spring Boot CRUD application, and after that I'm going to integrate with the DynamoDB. Okay, so first let's explain the Amazon DynamoDB. So Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service that provides a fast and predictable performance with seamless scalability. So Amazon DynamoDB is a key value and document database that delivers a single digit millisecond performance at any scale. And it's a fully managed multi-region, multi-active, durable database with built-in security, backup and restore, and in-memory caching for internet scale applications. So DynamoDB can handle more than 10 trillion requests per day and can support peaks more than 20 million requests per second. So you can just imagine how it's going to be handled 20 million requests per second. So that is the beauty of DynamoDB. And this is a DynamoDB table core components. So this is how the DynamoDB table structure will look like. So this is one person table, guys. So here we have primary key, attributes, and the items. So a table is a collection of items and each item is collection of attributes. So DynamoDB uses the primary key to uniquely identify each item in a table. Okay, and coming to attribute, it's a single field. Okay, here the attribute is first name, last name, age, and address. So an attribute is a single field that is attached to an item. And coming to an item is a group of attributes that is uniquely identifiable among all of the other items. So if you observe in the person table, okay, so each item is a represent a person. Here we have a 3 persons, Tom, Tran, and James. Each record will treat as one item here. Okay, so these are the DynamoDB table core components, guys. And after that we have 2 types of primary keys. One is simple primary key. Simple primary key is also known as the partition key. So in general, we will use as a partition key for primary key. And coming to composite primary key, the combination of partition key and the sorting key is nothing but composite primary key. So the primary key, the primary component is partition key here, the secondary component is sorting key here. Okay, so let's open our AWS console. So let's click on DynamoDB. And let's create one table here. And if you see here, we have a table name that is person. Okay, let's take as person here. And after that, the primary key we have to provide in partition key. Okay, the partition key is nothing but primary key here. This is a simple primary key. So let's take person ID here. Okay, and after that, so if you see here, we have a one more key that is sorting key. So if you want to go for composite primary key, the combination of partition key and the sorting key, then we will use the sorting key. Okay, so something if you want to provide some department ID. Okay, so then this will treat as composite primary key. And so if you see here, we have a settings, default settings. So I'm going to explain the customized settings as well. Okay, let me go to my PPT here. And we have secondary indexes. So secondary indexes basically lets you to query the data in the table using the alternate key, guys. Basically in addition to query against the primary key. So these secondary indexes will gives more flexibility when querying your data. So it's but they are used to query optimization. So we have 2 types of secondary indexes. We have 2 types of secondary indexes. One is global secondary index. Okay, an index with a partition key and sort key that can be different from those on the table. Okay, we already have partition key and the sorting key in the table, but again we are going to make use of partition key and the sorting key, but this partition key and the sorting key we are going to create again in the global secondary index level, but those are different, which we already have in the table level. And coming to the local secondary index, an index with that has in the same partition key as as the table but the different starting key. So we are going to make use of like same partition key which is already available in the table, but we are going to use different starting key in the local secondary table. Okay, if you go and see in this DynamoDB, so let's click on this customize settings. So here you will see like lot of options. Okay, read write capacity settings, on demand, provisioned, read capacity, write capacity, and if you come down you will find the secondary indexes here. Okay, here we have like create local index and create global index. Okay, so when you click on like global index, so here you will see partition key and sorting key, so the index name, but this partition key and the sorting key is different from whatever we have already in the table level. Okay, and if you click on like create local index, so here it's going to take only sorting key because it's going to use which is already available the partition key in the table level. So here we are going to use a different sorting key, that's it. So here you have to provide the index name and we can create the index. Basically like this secondary indexes will give like more flexibility and it's used for like query optimization, guys, and it's so somewhat like some a little bit cost. Okay, so estimated cost something like that. So that's it. Now let's create one simple Spring Boot CRUD application and let's integrate with DynamoDB. Spring initializer here, so let's create Spring Boot CRUD application here. Okay, let's take DynamoDB as a group ID. Let's take some artifact ID here, Spring Boot DynamoDB CRUD. Okay, now after that let's add like few dependencies. One is Spring Web dependency, and after that let's add Lombok dependency for setters and getters, and let's generate this project, and after that you can import into your IDE, and let's open our code here. So to work with DynamoDB, so first of all we need to add like two dependencies. So the dependencies is like we have like AWS Java SDK DynamoDB, and this is AWS DynamoDB library, and after that if you want to work with like Spring Data DynamoDB, so you can add this dependency as well. Okay, and after that let's refresh this, and now let's create one entity class first. Okay, so inside the entity package I'm going to create person entity class. Okay, let's add Lombok data here for setters and the getters, and after that let's add DynamoDB table. Okay, so here we need to provide the table name, so let's provide person as table name, and after that I'm going to provide three attributes here. Okay, so this ID could be DynamoDB auto generated key. Okay, and after that this auto generated key should be have like DynamoDB hash key for each and every ID. So we have to identify by unique identifier. Okay, let's add like one more thing, that is DynamoDB attribute, DynamoDB attribute. Okay, so that's it, guys. So here let's maximize this. I have added like DynamoDB table, and the table name is person. Okay, this name should be matched with your in AWS DynamoDB table name, and after that here we need attributes. So I have provided ID, first name, last name. So the first one is auto generated key, and after that I have provided like the other fields as DynamoDB attributes, first name and the last name. That's it. Let's create one repository. Okay, inside the repository interface, I'm going to take interface now. Okay, I will explain why I'm taking interface here. Person repository. Okay, so this, like, we have like two ways to create the repository here. Okay, so either you can use CRUD repository. So this CRUD repository will have person and string. Okay, so this is my object and this is my id. And so if you open like this CRUD repository, this CRUD repository will have like all the methods like find by id, existing by id, or find all by id. So all those methods are available, so we can make use those methods. But so this is one way of using like repository. Another way is like we can make use DynamoDB Mapper. Okay, so that is class, and let's declare as repository. Now I'm going to take auto void. Okay, let's take private, so DynamoDB Mapper. Okay, so this DynamoDB Mapper also will have like couple of methods to work with CRUD repository, so I'm going to use this DynamoDB Mapper. Okay, this is provided by AWS JDK library, DynamoDB library. And so let's take, so first of all we need to save the data, right? So that data should be written our person class. Okay, let's provide the input as person here. And now, so we have a DynamoDB mapper. Inside that DynamoDB mapper we have a save method. Let's provide input as person here. Okay, let's return person class. And after that, so we have to find it by id. Okay, so let's take person, so find by id. To find by id we need a id as a input parameter. And let's take DynamoDB mapper, we have a load method, so let's pass id here. Okay, and let's return this. That's it. So here we need entity class as well. Let's provide entity class comma id here. Okay, so now it's going to be return this person class. And after that, so we need to find out all the persons, so that is list of persons. So let's take list of persons here. So we have find all, and in the DynamoDB mapper we have like one more method, that is scan method. Okay, it's going to take person entity class, and after that, so it's going to be take DynamoDB scan expression. So new Dynamo, sorry guys, new DynamoDB scan expression. Okay, let's maximize this. So that's it. So this scan method is going to be written all the persons available in our DynamoDB. And after that, so I am going to, sorry guys, I'm going to update the person, and let's take, so here we need to take like string id, and after that we need a person object. Okay, so first of all, like, we need to get the person with the help of the id here. Okay, so let's take, so not required guys. So basically what I'm going to do is, so in the DynamoDB mapper we have like one more method, DynamoDB mapper save. Okay, this save is going to be take our person, and so let's take new, we have like DynamoDB save expression, DynamoDB save expression guys. So this DynamoDB save expression will have with expected entry. So here the expected entry would be find out by using id here. Okay, so here we have new expected attribute value. Okay, this expected attribute value is going to be take new attribute value. So this new attribute value again, like it's going to be take with yes, so our id. Okay, and it has to be written person, that updated person, it has to be written, guys. So the updated person we won't get it here, so what I'm doing, I'm going to return string here. Okay, and here I think so, yeah, that's it. So finally we need a delete method, so let's take public. So here I'm going to provide string as a return type, and let's provide delete method. This delete method is going to take id, and now so DynamoDB Mapper will have delete method. So this delete method will take id and it's going to be return. Okay, it's going to be delete that specified person object. Okay, and after that, so let's add return, and let's provide some content here, person, so deleted successfully. Okay, so let's provide some id here. So that's it, guys. So our all CRUD API methods are ready now inside the DynamoDB Mapper. Okay, now so we need a controller. So let's create one controller and we can make use this person repository inside our controller. So either you can write like service layer like controller. So to save the time, I'm going to write directly controller, guys. So that is the reason I'm saying I'm going to write the controller here. Let's take controller package. I'm going to create person controller here. Okay, so this is going to take at the rate of rest controller, and again like we need so request mapping. Okay, to map I'm just providing the endpoint is persons here, and after that we need to auto-wire our repository. Okay, let's auto-wire person repository. Okay, now we need to write the methods here. So let's write public and let's return person object. Okay, to save basically we need a request body, so let's provide request body here. I'm going to take person as a request body inside this, and let's return person repository save. Let's provide person here. Okay, so that's perfect, and let's add at the rate of post mapping here, and so we need to find out the person by id. So let's provide the person find by id, and here we need to provide path variable, right? So by using the path variable, sorry guys, path variable, let's take value id, okay, so now so let's return so person repository dot find by id. Okay, okay, there is no comma here, and let's provide the get mapping here, and now so let's find out all the persons. So list of persons, so let's take find all, it doesn't take any input parameter. Let's return person repository dot find all. Okay, so find all also ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take update method here, public,
So update is going to be written updated person, and so let's take update as name here. And so this is going to be take two things here. One is path variable. So this path variable I'm going to provide id here, and let's take string id. Okay, and after that I'm going to take request body. So inside this request body I'm going to provide the person object, okay, to modify the person object. So here curly braces is missed, guys. Okay, and now so let's return person repository dot update. So let's provide id and person. That's it. Okay, basically it is returning string here. Okay, that's it. And finally let's provide delete here, and here also it's string, and let's delete. So here I'm going to take path variable, sorry guys, path variable. Let's provide value id. Let's take string id here, and let's return what you are going to return here. You are going to return person repository dot delete by id. Okay, perfect. And now let's provide delete mapping here, delete mapping. So here I'm going to take path variable id. Okay, so let's copy this, and here while updating, so we need to put mapping here. Okay, I'm just taking the path variable, and let's copy this one. Okay, not required. So let's provide id here as well. Okay, so our controller is ready, guys. And so the final thing is we need DynamoDB configuration. Okay, so to work with the DynamoDB we need a DynamoDB configuration. That DynamoDB configuration will have interaction with our AWS DynamoDB. So let's create that config package. I'm going to create DynamoDB configuration. Okay, so let's annotate with the of configuration. So here I'm going to make use of auto void. So I'm going to take private DynamoDB mapper. Okay, so this mapper, not auto void, guys, sorry. So here what we need to do is we have to create the bean. Okay, so let's return new DynamoDB mapper. Okay, so it has to be create AWS DynamoDB, and it has to be passed the argument here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide Amazon DynamoDB. Okay, so let's first annotate with bean here, and let's create method here. Okay, so this method is going to be return Amazon DynamoDB client builder. Okay, so this DynamoDB client builder will have method standard. Okay, so here we have like two things. One is we have to provide the endpoint configuration, and another thing is so credentials. Okay, and after that we have to build this. Okay, so to work with this endpoint configuration and credentials, okay, so first of all let's provide endpoint configuration here, that is AWS client builder dot client configuration. Okay, and let's format this. So here we need a service endpoint. After that we need a signing region. Okay, we are going to get it from the DynamoDB, guys. And here in the with credentials, here we need to provide the credentials, guys. So that credentials I'm going to get it from Amazon DynamoDB credentials. So let's create another method. Okay, so this method is going to be return new AWS static credentials provided. Okay, so this method will have new basic credentials. This basic credential is going to be take access key, and after that secret key. Okay, so that's it. So this service endpoint and service region, all the information I'm going to get it from DynamoDB. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it from the application.properties file. So to get the application from application.properties file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take private string, so dynamodb endpoint. Okay, after that let's take private string, so AWS access key, private string, AWS secret key. Okay, so that's it. And so here, so we have to get it from application.properties file, right? So what I'm going to do is, let's take, okay, let's copy this, paste here. Okay, and now let's open application.properties. So I will take keys from there and I will paste here, guys. So application.properties, so here let's provide, okay, so these are the endpoint, DynamoDB endpoint, and this is like access key and this is secret key. So these values I'm going to get it from, so DynamoDB. So for the time being, okay, let's copy this and come to your DynamoDB configuration. So this is my endpoint, and go back to your application.properties file, and let's copy this access key and go here and paste here and go there. Let's copy this secret key as well, the DynamoDB configuration. Let's provide this. Okay, so now, so let's provide here DynamoDB endpoint, and here the access key, AWS access key. Okay, and the secret key, AWS secret key. That's it. Okay, so here the pending thing is we have to get it the region and this DynamoDB endpoint and access key and the secret key. So I'm going to get it from IAM. So let's open our AWS management console here and let's click on IAM here. So you'll find like user groups and the users and the roles, all those stuff here. So first of all, let's create user group. So click on the create group. Okay, here the group name I'm going to take it as DynamoDB group. Okay, and we have to attach the permission policies here. So I'm going to attaching DynamoDB. Okay, so here we have like couple of policy names, DynamoDB full access, and we have like read only access and DynamoDB Lambda invocations, all those stuff is available here. So I'm going to take it this DynamoDB full access here. Let's check this and let's create group. Okay, so DynamoDB group is created, and now so click on the users. Let's click on add users and let's provide some name. I'm going to take DynamoDB user. Okay, and here we have a select AWS access type. So how these users will access the AWS access keys and passwords? So I need like programmatic access here. Okay, so I have to access this access ID and the secret key both. Okay, so let's click on permissions. So here we need to attach this group, that is DynamoDB group, guys, and let's click on tags. So I'm not going to bother about this tag. So let's click on review button. Okay, everything is fine. Let's click on create user. Okay, so it's created successfully. So you will find like so user and access key and secret key here. So let's copy this access key. So go back to your code and open your application.properties file. Here you will paste your access key and let's copy this secret key as well. Go back to your secret key, paste here, and here we have a pending thing is region. So this region we are going to get it from the DynamoDB. Okay, so first of all, like let's create DynamoDB table. Okay, let's click on this DynamoDB, and here you will find like create a new table to start exploring DynamoDB. Let's click on create table. So here we have a couple of options to create table. So let's click on table name. So I'm going to create person as table name. So the partition key is ID here. So partition key is nothing but primary key, guys. So if you want like change the type as well, so I'm just took this string as a type here, and after that sorting key. So if you want to work with the composite key, the combination of primary key and the sorting key, then you can provide the sorting key here. So now I'm not going to create any sorting key here. So coming to the settings, default settings, I'm not going to this customize settings. I'm just making use of this default settings, guys. And here we have a tags is not required. Let's click on create table. Okay, so it's going to be take a couple of seconds. In the meantime, so if you see here, we have a region information. So my region is US East North Virginia, and this is US East 1 is my region. Okay, so now go back to your code. So here you can provide your region name, so US East 1. Okay, let's copy this and go back to your DynamoDB configuration. So here we have a pending thing is signing region. Let's paste here. Okay, so now we are ready to work with this Amazon DynamoDB configuration. So we have a controller and we have repository, we have DynamoDB configuration as well. Okay, so let's start this application and let's check it out whether it's working or not. Sorry guys, I forgot to put get mapping here. Get mapping. Okay, that's fine. Here, and let's start this application. So it's throwing some error, guys. So let's open the error. Bean method DynamoDB must not be private or final. Okay, so let's go back to configuration. So I just declared private here. Okay, sorry guys, and let's start this. Okay, application is started, guys. So let's open the post main here. Okay, let's click on. Okay, so here, so let's provide HTTP colon, so localhost 8080. So our endpoint name is persons here. Okay, so this is my post mapping, and let's provide some data. your raw data. So here I'm going to take JSON. Okay, so now let's provide some JSON data here. So let's take first name. Okay, the first name is Tom here, and last name is, I'm going to take it as Heiser. Okay, so that's fine. Let's hit the endpoint. Okay, so it's created successfully. It's written some data. So the post mapping is working fine, guys. It's able to insert the data in the DynamoDB. Okay, so now let's search with before I'm going to search, let's add some more data. Ran Gradle. Let's post this again. Okay, and after that, so let's copy this ID and paste here, and let's get it. So find the ID by ID name here. Okay, so it's written Tom Heiser, so that's mean it's working fine. So find by ID is working fine, guys. And coming to find all. Okay, let's hit this and check it out. Okay, it's written 2 persons, that means like it is also working fine. And we need put operation here. Okay, so here, so ran Gradle information. Okay, let's take this ID, so let's paste here. Okay, so to work with the put operation here, we need ID, guys. Okay, I can just make sure that before we are going to update. So let's provide name ran G here. Okay, let's hit this. So it is throwing. Okay, so I forgot to put ID here. Let's copy this and paste here, and let's hit this. Okay, it's updated, and let's get it all the persons here. Okay, so it's updated successfully, guys. So if you see here, the first name is Ranji here. Okay, that means like it's updated successfully. And now I'm going to delete this. Okay, let's delete this. So I'm going to delete this ran person. Let's hit this button. So we got some error, throwing error, guys. So let's open this delete method. Okay, here we are directly deleting this, okay, by using ID here. But so first of all, we have to load the person, and after that we have to delete that, guys. So let's take this and let's provide like person here and person. Okay, let's copy this and provide inside this delete. So basically here we have 2 options, right? Okay, so this is the thing we missed it now. Okay, so now let's restart your application. Okay, application is started. Let's go back to your postman and let's remove this first. Like, let's get it all the persons. Okay, we have like 2 persons, so I'm going to delete the Tom here. Let's copy this ID, let's put here and go to delete mapping, and let's hit the send button. Okay, we got like person deleted successfully. Now let's get it and let's remove this ID here. Okay, let's hit the send button. Okay, so here we have only 1 person, that is Ran. So Tom is deleted successfully. And now let's go to your Amazon. Okay, Amazon console, and let's open our DynamoDB table, that is person here, and let's click on view items. Okay, if you see here, we have like only 1 item, so that means like earlier like we have 2 items. 1 item is deleted successfully, we have 1 item. Okay, so ID, name and last name. Okay, so if you click on this, you will see the attribute names, first name, last name. and you have attribute values here. So if you want to create like any new attribute, you can click on that. Okay, and after you added like some attributes, you can save the changes, so that will be reflect here. And let's cancel this, and that's it guys. So if you like this video, so please go ahead and like. If you haven't subscribed my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.